Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends Marvel's Knights Mindless one Build-A-Figure review. How and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and make my channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we have came to the end of yet another Marvel Legends wave. As in front of me today we have all of the pieces you will need to build the Mindless one Build-A-Figure from this recent Marvel Knights wave. To be honest, it's been a solid comic book wave with some new characters to add to our collection. I'm just frustrated that the Mindless one Build-A-Figure is an army builder. Like, a Build-A-Figure shouldn't be an army builder. Like, that is very frustrating. It turns out to be very expensive, but as you've seen, I've already tracked the second one down. As my rules, if it's an army builder, I need at least one more in the collection. So if you, like me, want to build at least one of these guys, you will have to buy 6 of the 7 figures in this wave. They are Midnight Sun's Iron Man, Blade, Lady Bullseye, Luke Cage, the Fist Ninja, and Clear. You do not need Daredevil, he has no Build-A-Figure piece. You buy those 6 figures, then you will have all of the pieces you see on the table and you can build the Mindless one. So it should be very simple. You have 2 legs and a body, 2 arms, a head. I'm going to do this off screen and I'll be back. Pow, and a bit of behind the camera strength, and we have our first Mindless one all built up, and I'm happy to report no issues at all. Everything plugged in together, no problems, and it is a completely unique sculpt for this character. For the first time in Marvel Legends, we are adding a Mindless one. Now, as I said, he's an army builder. It's going to make sense to have more than one in the collection, so it's nice to see a couple of interchangeable parts here, which are fisted hands, open palms on the figure already, and this wisp of red energy, which you can attach to the eye. So even though there's only a few there, it does give you a bit of variety if you choose to buy more than one for your collection. As I keep saying, the frustrating part is that it's a Build-A-Figure, so I will not be surprised if in a year's time we see a deluxe release of this. So maybe if you're patient, you will be rewarded, but I'm not. I have already got a second one, which you will see in a second. But as I said, completely unique sculpting. So let's take that out of the way. Let's get the tape measure. How tall is the Mindless one? He is just under 8 inches tall, probably about 7¾ inches. And I'm sure if I add the energy effect, it's going to make him even taller. So let me get the tape measure out again, and we can see he is now just under 11 inches. So yeah, that's going to take up some real estate on the shelf if you choose to display him with that wisp of red energy. In that translucent red, does glimmer nicely underneath my lights. But in case you didn't know who the Mindless ones were, let me try and explain. First appeared in Strange Tales 127 in 1964, Mindless ones are extra-dimensional creatures summoned via magic to do the bidding of others. They have no willpower of their own. Humanoid bodies, they have no face to speak except a single glowing eye to fire blast effects. They have been summoned by characters like Dormammu, Doctor Doom, and even Loki. Zooming in to take a look at his only defining feature, it is his red eye. But there is more articulation on this head sculpt than it first appears, as it is in like a dome crevice on a ball joint. So you can actually rotate the head left and right, no problem at all. You can get him looking down a tiny bit and then looking up quite far as well. And then it does expose the neck, but because it's very shadowy, it doesn't, you can't even tell, to be honest. So if you want him looking up, you can absolutely get him looking up. So more range there as the head is sort of buried in that crevice. And then all the detail on this figure is nicely sculpted. Hopefully it's coming across on camera, but you've got cracks and bumps and sort of bricks and rocks all over this guy, as well as like an elephant hide texture throughout the body, like all the way down to the toes, all the way up the leg and the torso, all the way up to the head, and then even on the arms as well, you get that sort of wrinkling elephant hide body with all the cracks and the sculpts, and yeah, it is nicely done. I do think a better sort of dry brush would have really brought out some of these cracks and bumps, but they have attempted to add some colour here, as it does look like an all black figure, but it's sort of like a greyish black, and there's definitely a reddish or brownish wash in there somewhere. It is glistening a little bit under the lights. Hopefully it comes across on camera, but there's definitely a little bit of red in there that does sort of make the red eye stand out a little bit more as well. So they have thought about some of the detail, but again, a little bit more paint would have really brought out all this nice, unique sculpting. And I say that because I have no idea where they could reuse this sculpt. Maybe they could single pack release the Mindless one with the yellow eye, like in the comics, so maybe that's an option, but I don't know any other characters that could use this. Let me know in the comments if you can think of any other Marvel characters that could utilize this sort of textured, sculpted body. But in regards to movement, as you would expect, shoulders go up less than 90. There is a swivel at the elbow and also a single joint in the wrists as well. There's a diaphragm joint here, so you get your swivel at the waist, but I wouldn't try and swivel it too far, but the swivel is up here, and also a bit of a crunch as well. Not much, but it's enough, so you can lean in back, okay, and then also forward as well. So not bad for this big sort of rock textured guy. The legs as well, if we look down, can go out nearly to 90, to be fair. That's not bad with a single jointed knee, and then you've got the ankle pivot and rocker on. He barely has ankles, to be fair. He has this big flat foot, but it does make him stand very nicely at all. So considering it is a big chunky figure, there's some nice movement in there, and to be honest, you don't need this guy to have crazy articulation to be accurate to the character. He's meant to be big and chunky and awkward looking, and yeah, I absolutely think you'll be able to get a couple of these on the shelf all posed up looking exactly like they do in the comics. Big, ugly, chunky, and awkward. It is nice to get a few interchangeable parts for a builder figure. The Mindless one is no exception, as we get a set of open palm hands and a set of fisted hands, and they have that same sort of elephant hide brick type of texture all over them, and it does give you a couple of looks, especially if you're army building these guys. The other effect piece is this sort of red wisp of energy that you can plug into the eye. Now this is quite a thick translucent bit of plastic here, so there isn't really any flex to this at all. I feel like if I tried to flex this, it would just snap. So it isn't a soft plastic, it is quite hard, but I think that's been purpose so it holds its shape when you plug it into the eye. So you basically get your Mindless one and you plug it in right in the corner, so all the sort of energy is facing upwards. So you can sort of see how that is there. If I zoom in there you go. So that's where the point is, and you want to stick that point right into the corner of the eye like so, and it just sort of feels it grip. So now you have this energy effect attached to the eye, and it will move around with the eye and doesn't hinder the articulation by any means, but I do feel like that's going to be very loose, and if I start like shaking him, it may fall out. Let's test it. Yep, now it's on the floor. Exactly what I thought. The unfortunate thing about this as a builder figure is it means it makes it very difficult to try and build multiple. It makes it very expensive. I, for one, do not think army builders should be builder figures. Now, maybe because it's such an obscure character, the only way Hasbro could sneak them into the line was by making it a builder figure. Again, just thinking out loud, not trying to justify their decisions. I definitely don't think an army builder should be a builder figure, but it absolutely deserves more than one in a collection. Like, they're called the Mindless ones. You need a couple on the shelf to represent what they truly are. So shout out Dan Hayden for selling me his builder figure, so I at least have two in the collection, and they do look good together, let's be honest. They're definitely going to fill out some fodder villains on our sort of cosmic section of the display, but they've fought the Avengers, they've fought Blob and Deadpool at some point. You can put them anywhere you want. They're just your cosmic, big, beefy villains, and to be honest, as much as the wisps do look pretty good and it does give it a pop of colour on the display, they're just going to fall off and irritate me, so I'll probably take them out, sort of pile these up. Maybe I need a third one now. I'm like, well, how many do I need? Let me know in the comments below. Like, ideally, how many Mindless ones do you want in your collection? I think maybe one more would be good, and then I could maybe have another on the left and have a bad guy in the middle controlling them. I don't know. Now I'm trying to convince myself I need a third, which again is very expensive. But maybe if I can track down the builder figure pieces, I don't know. I'm thinking out loud. You let me know in the comments below how many Mindless ones you would like in your collection ideally. I think I kept saying cosmic, but I meant mystic. These guys are from the dark dimension, so I associate these guys with magical based characters. But I guess you could class another dimension as being cosmic. So again, it's your collection. You create your own rules. But for me, they're mystical based bad bad guys that are going to go with characters just like Dormammu, who took over that dark dimension and now uses the Mindless Ones as his soldiers to do his bidding. He has sent them to Earth many a time to torment our heroes. So here we have the single packed pinless Dormammu, which does look really good with these, and because he's shorter than the Build-A-Figure, it does make the Mindless Ones look a little bit more intimidating. But if you prefer your Dormammu to be the intimidating one, here we have the Build-A-Figure from, I think, the 2015 Doctor Strange movie wave, which is taller than your Mindless one. So of course he is a big bad. Some people are going to prefer Dormammu to actually be the bigger counterpart to these Mindless ones, but it does at least give you options in your display if you have multiple figures. So you could either go for the big Dormammu or the little Dormammu. We got daddy and son here, but either way, both of them are going to work great with your Mindless ones. I genuinely haven't picked which one I'm going to sort of pair up with mine just yet. Maybe both, maybe just like this, I don't know. And as I mentioned, another character to call upon the Mindless ones is of course Doctor Doom, one of my favourite Marvel villains. And again, he pairs up really nice with these Mindless one figures, especially considering we don't really have any official Doom bots yet from the Hasbro era of Marvel Legends. So for now, maybe the Mindless ones can pair up with your Doctor Doom. Of course, the Goddess Mischief has called upon the Mindless ones as well. So here we have Loki with the Mindless ones. And since I kept saying cosmic so much, let's bring in a couple of cosmic characters. First up, we have Thanos, of course, who is actually taller than the Mindless ones. I also have the recent released Drax that came in a 2-pack with Moonstone. His cape there is nearly knocking him over. But again, he is really tall when compared to the Mindless ones. You don't realize how big Drax is until you get him in hand. Here we have Ronan as well, who we got as a single pack sort of deluxe earlier in the year. And as you can see, he is about the same height as the Mindless ones. It's just his hammer is big and intimidating. Who else have I got on show with me? I think I've got a Hulk next to me. Yes, I have. Here we have a Hulk. And again, Hulk, this is maybe the 80th anniversary Hulk. Big and imposing compared to the Mindless ones. So yeah, the Mindless ones are big, but they're not the biggest Marvel Legends. Now their texture being all rocky and cracked as it is definitely reminds me of characters like the Thing here from the Fantastic Four. But as you can see, the Mindless ones are just a tiny bit taller than him, but they do have similar cracks as stuff, just like we have with Ben Grimm. And I said elephant hide earlier, but maybe it's a rhino hide. Here we have the recent retro Rhino re-release, and as you can see, there's no reuse here from any of these old figures. It is a unique sculpt just for the Mindless ones. Let's bring it back to the mystic world with a Doctor Strange and Clea, who is a part of this very same Mindless one Build-A-Figure wave, and these are definitely going to go together on the display. As I said, add in a Dormammu, but there are plenty of mystical characters we're still missing. We need some accompanying characters, the supporting cast of the Doctor Strange world. I'm talking a Baron Mordo in comic form, a Wong, even an ancient one I'd take in comic form. More characters needed. Here we have Blade and Luke Cage in this same Build-A-Figure wave. Go and check out my reviews on the channel. All rise for royalty as we have the King and Queen of the Fist with Daredevil and Elektra, technically Daredevil. I'm pretty confident Spider-Man has come up against the Mindless ones at some point. So here we have the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and the brand new Black Widow. And then we have Iron Man and Captain America. Let's wrap up with some of the Who crew with Frogman, Tigra and Jocasta, who is reading out comments from the last Marvel Legends review. Make sure you leave a good comment on this video and she may pick you to read on the next one. Who have you picked today?
Galatia ZX says, I wish Gamerverse figures had their own wave. Games like Midnight Suns, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Insomniac Spider-Man games.
And then last but never least, we have Captain Britain and Hal, Fire, Hank. Final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Marvel Knights Mindless one Build-A-Figure. Now, I'm not mad at the obscure pick of character here. I think the Mindless ones are a great addition, worthy of their place in your collection. They're going to complement the Mystic Shelf very nicely with lots of characters we already have in the line to pair them up and pose them with. It's also a great, accurate representation in plastic of what is otherwise a very ugly and awkward character design. I think they look great. What's frustrating, however, is the fact that this very clear army builder is a builder figure. Army builders should not be builder figures unless it's in a wave full of other army builders. It just doesn't make sense otherwise. If you look at any comic book panel, there is always more than one mindless one. They're called the mindless ones. You need more than one on your shelf for it to make sense in your collection. So ultimately, very frustrating and very expensive if you want to buy more than one. So I'm curious, how many would you have want? How many are you going to end up with? So there's some good and some bad, but I think mostly good. I do feel positive about this whole wave in general. Plastic packaging is back. It makes so much different having the windows. We've got some new characters, some upgrades, and some additional accessories. Now, they're not all hits. There's definitely nitpicks in this wave as well, and I think I've been very fair pointing them out in my reviews. But overall, I do feel like Legends are moving in a better direction. I definitely did not enjoy that whole plasticless era. So maybe I'll do a recap and ranking of this wave. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comments below. And as always, if you like Marvel Legends, you're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, the podcast, the playlist, but most importantly, please, please, please hit that subscribe button, hit all on the notification bell, don't miss a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member if you show some love, or join the members club. Much, much appreciated. You can go and check out all those other tiers. I'm on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm on Twitter or X, whatever it is, at Dan Who Reviews. All the links are in the description, and I will, of course, see you on the next one.